Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we will be covering SQL data manipulation language, also known as DML. And by the end of this session, we will understand how to insert, update, delete, and retrieve data from a database. Let's get started. So data manipulation language, DML. So today we'll be focusing on DML, working with data. So what is DML? DML, data manipulation language, consists of SQL commands used to add data into tables, modify existing data, remove data from tables. DML deals with the actual data inside the database. We now have the insert statement, purpose, used to add new records into a table. So this is very, very important. In our previous class, we created a table. So after we view the table, we just saw the columns and name, but there's nothing inside the table. So with this DML, we are going to use DML to now impute values into that table we created. So that's what DML does. DDL will help you create the table. DML will help you to impute data into that table. So syntax is insert. You use the keyword insert into, then the name of the table. You now say the column names, the name of those columns, then your values. So for example, we have this. So we have this, for example, insert into, so employees, the name of the table is employees, the column is first name, last name, age, salary. Now the values, this John, the first name is what? John. The last name, Doe. The age 30 and the salary 50,000. Always match values with column order. Very important. What that means is that the first name, when you are creating your values, this first one before what you have here before the comma will go into the column here. This one go into this one into this one into this one. So always match values with column order. So let's look at it. So we have our database. So I'm going to use this table I created in the previous class. I will run the table again. So let's look at the table. There's nothing inside the table. So let's look at the table. You can see now there's nothing inside the table. So we are going to insert values inside this table. So now what are we going to do? So now what are we going to do? So we are going to look at this. We are going to insert data into the table. So what we are going to do now is use the keyword insert into the table name. Our table name is students. Then into brackets. What is the name of the columns? We have first name, last name, age, salary, and location. So we have first name, comma, we have salary, comma, we have age, comma, no, first name, last name, we have age, we have salary, so arrange them very well. And we now have location. You close the bracket. Okay. You now come down and you now say values. Now open the bracket. So first name now, let's assume. Now please pay attention. If it is VARCHAR like text, letters, you put them inside single quotes. So the first name, let's say I have Paul, comma, the last name. Let's say I have um let's say Paul Jeff, comma. Now the age. So when it has to do with number, you don't put number inside that inside single quote. But you can do it too. But if you do it, automatically it will be converted to a string, like a varchar. So for number, you just leave it like that. Let's say 30, comma, salary, let's say 20,000, comma, location. So location in varchar, I put it inside quote. Let's say Lagos, and you close the bracket with your semicolon. So now I'm going to run this. Okay, there's an error here. They say that unknown column location in field list. We have first name, last name, age, salary, then location. Then we have values for, this is the first name, the last name, the age, the salary, and the location. So why are we having the error? Let me look at the table. Okay. We have first name, last name, age, salary, location. Okay, sorry. We didn't spell the location correctly. We did not spell the location correctly. So yeah, if you do your things correctly, you won't have an error. So whenever you have an error and you are like, where's the error coming from? It means that you did something wrong. Just this is the process of debugging. So what you are doing in SQL, you're already feeling like a programmer. You're writing a code. You're a programmer now. So this is what we call bug. I was just trying to figure out. You see now, I was just trying to figure out where the problem is. But that process is known as debugging. So you will face this a lot. Just take your time, look at your code very well, your query very well, and you will see where the error is. And the message you have here will also help you to know where to point at. You can see now, correct. So I didn't spell the location correctly. If I run it now, you can now see now. So we have this. Okay. Now, so I can do it again. Let me show you something real quick. So you can impute multiple values. So using this. So what we are going to do now is just to put comma here. Then you can, then another value is, let's say I will use Nelson, the varchar Nelson, comma, the last name. I'm using my name. So let me use my last name. Isong Idok. You don't know how to pronounce it. Leave it to the age. You do want to know my age. Might not be correct too, so just bear with it. Then the amount. I feel like giving myself very large digits. I'll give myself 100,000. Then the location. I'm currently in Akwa Ibom. Okay. Thank God I have this. So when you are imputing when you are using string like in varchar, there's no need to use underscore here. So if you give normal space, it's correct. you won't run into any error. So you only use it where you are creating columns, mostly in DQL and DDL. So like now you can use your space, you can give normal space, there won't be any error. So now let's insert this. Okay, that is correct. You can see now the reason why this is appearing twice is because we inserted it again. So let me drop the table, drop table. What's the name of the table? Students. Before I do that, why that happen is that if I should insert this again, it's going to go into another line again. No, sorry. No, if I should insert this again, now look at it. Just like keep duplicating. So that's what happened there. So let's drop the table. Let's create it back. And let's insert it back. Let's look at it. So you can see now, correct. So now that is how to add more. If you have another value again, see the same thing. You copy this, you can just bring it down. Always put your comma. It's only the last one that will end with semicolon like this. So you can change this to, let's say, comfort, font, the age. Yes, I'll leave the age as the salary. Okay. So I'll just add 5 here. Okay. This person is currently in Lagos. Okay. So if I run everything now, so what you can do is I will drop this. I will create it back. Then I will insert mine. You can see it now. So when you are inserting your values, write out everything, then just insert it at once. So that is it about. So that is it about is insert 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 statement. So now let's go to update statement. Purpose used to modify existing records. Then the syntax update. They use the keyword update the table name set column equals to. Then you have your where condition. So that is what you are going to look at. So this is the example. This is the example. Without where, please take note. Without where all records will be updated. So now let's look at this. Let's go back to our table. We now say update. What are table names? Students. Update students. And now say set. You can call this set salary equals to, let's say, 40,000. So if I run this particular code, all the salaries will be 40,000. So you have to be specific. That is where comes in. That is where the where clause comes in. So that where clause is, it used to filter something, it used to give condition. So now, you now say where, I will say where first name equals to. So now I want to update Paul to 40,000. So where first name equals to, I have Paul. So I'm going to run this. So I'm having an error here. Okay, I didn't spell the first well, please. So, okay, you are using save update. Okay, you have an error here. This less. What is happening here is that you are trying to update something, so you need permission. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disable that need for permission. Let me put it like that. So I'm going to disable it. I will say set SQL save updates equals to 0. What is happening? So set SQL save updates equals to 0. So I'm going to run this. So with that, I can now update this. You see now it works. So if I want to set it back, I will use 1. So if I run this again, it won't work because I've enabled that permission back again. So, but I've already run it. So let's look at our code. You can see now, Paul has been updated to 40,000 from 20,000 to 40,000. So that is what the update statement does. So I can even use it to update my own. Let's say I will now add 200,000 to my own, where first name equals to what? Nelson. So I have to turn this off again so that will allow me to run it. So if I click here, if I check it, you can see now I've updated mine again. So that is it for update. Without where all records will be updated. If I don't put that where, can we just do that? No need for it. But without where, everything will just be updated. So that's what you should know. You can try it out on the. So delete statement purpose used to remove records from a table. Then the syntax delete from the name of the table, then the condition. So now let's come back. I will say delete from what the table name students, where, let's say where first name equals to, I want to delete Paul, equals to Paul. So if I run this, it will automatically delete Paul. So if we check our table again, you will not see Paul again. I've deleted Paul. So the difference between delete from, there's a difference between these two. Let me do this. Delete from table and drop table. So if I use this drop table, I'm deleting the table completely from the database. But if I use delete from, then the table name, I'll just delete all the values. Understand? Just like going to bank. You tell bank, I want to shut down my account, I want to close my account. So that one is just like drop table. Or you can go to bank, tell bank, I need all my money, just give me all my money. So they will withdraw everything in the bank for you, but your account is still there. So if I use this, if I run this without the where condition, look at what is going to happen. There's no value in my table again. So that is the difference between the two. If you just want to delete all the values, then leave the column names. Use delete from the table name. If you want to delete the table totally, use drop table. So this is it. Example. So important notes, always use where when updating or deleting. So that you can be specific. You don't go and delete everything or update everything. Test queries before executing. Back up important data, especially when you are working in a real world scenario. Mistakes in DML can lead to data loss. Very, very important. So when you're working in a company, organization, very careful. Mistake with DML can lead to data loss. So best practice, use transactions where possible, validate input data, avoid avoid encoding values in production, use meaningful conditions. So when you are in real world settings, you understand this much better. So like bonus, insert multiple rows. We already did this. How to insert multiple records into a table. We already did that. So practice exercise. Insert 3 records into a table. Update 1 record, delete 1 record. Use where conditions properly. So this is your exercise. So final summary. DML helps you add data using the insert keyword, modify data using the update keyword, remove data using the delete keyword, master DML, control over your data. So that is it for DML, data manipulation language.